Welcome to Crafts and Minis. Today, I have a haul to share with you, and this is a really special haul. One of the local high schools in my area has a gaming club, a tabletop gaming club, run by some great folks. And they put on a convention every year in town. Now, that convention's in the fall, and when I'm filming this, it's in the spring. And instead of doing a convention in the spring, now they started up doing this gamer garage sale where they open up the cafeteria of the school and let people have tables to sell their stuff. And they also have tables available for people to play. It's a great deal. You know, there's a small cover fee to get in that supports the tabletop gaming club for the high school. And the convention in the fall is amazing. It's called Recruits. And I'll put a link to the website for the convention in the description below. And Recruits is designed to be a convention to really be welcoming to new players, especially young people, to try to grow the hobby, which I love. And last year at Recruits, the convention, I set up a couple tables and was able to sell some things in my growing hoard. But today wasn't about selling, it was about buying. And there were too many deals to be had. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit to show you what was happening. Overall, here's what I was able to come away with today at this gamer garage sale. And a couple more boxes actually that I'll pull in. Some decisions were made. It was awesome. So many fun people. And actually people I had run into at Recruits who remembered me from my table, and people I recognized from that convention too. And it's really cool to have a local community that's so supportive of the hobby. So if you have that, take advantage of it. If you don't, be the one to help grow it in just a little way. And I don't even know how to address all this stuff here. Actually, I'm going to go through the boxes first before we get into the individual minis that I was able to pick up. One of the people there was great. He actually owns a game store in town that's a little further away from my residence than I'd like to be able to go regularly, but I have stopped in there before, and it was awesome. So this Rune Wars stuff, these 6 boxes here, this box here, and then also this Kings of War Ghouls box I picked up. Each one of those boxes were a ridiculous deal, so I'm just really glad I was able to find those. And, you know, these are so fun. There are 2 of these golems. Thanks for the tip in the last video about how to pronounce that. 2 of these golems in each of these boxes. So I got 6 of those. These are these Rune Wars Worm Riders, Carrion Lancers they call them, which are just amazing, right? And there's 6 of those that I picked up. Then I got these skeleton guys. There should be 8 of those in the box. Maybe there are more. Actually, that's interesting that there's just 8. Yeah, just 8, which is awesome. And then 20 Kings of War Ghouls. Now, I've put these together before, and they're very interesting sculpts. They've been out now for quite a while, but I really like them. Okay, then you notice behind those, this box Lionheart. And actually, I picked up 2 of these from 2 different tables. And that is a fun source of old sculpted style plastic miniatures. So I should have thought ahead and actually had this available, have them out available to unpack to show you some of the sculpts. But I know, I think Blandco does a video on Lionheart miniatures, which is really cool. I love the farmers from Lionheart especially, but they have cavalry, they have all sorts of stuff in there that is really cool. So they're a great source for a bunch of cheap minis, and I got a great deal on those boxes. Like for both of them, I paid what I'd have to pay for the cheapest I found it on eBay. So I got like a 2-for-1 deal, and then on eBay I would have had to pay shipping, which is crazy. Also, Conjura from Reaper, the Tarrasque, that can't be called a Tarrasque for licensing reasons, of course. But even though that's just the pieces, that is an enormous miniature. I've been tempted to buy that so many times. I found someone who was selling it for a really good price, less than I'd pay on eBay. So that was awesome. Also, Dragons Don't Share. I forget if this was Bones 1, Bones 2, Bones 3 Kickstarter that it initially came out or was produced because of. But it has that big piece of terrain, the large dragon, and then these 4 little minis, or 5 minis. And I was able to pair that from this seller with this Worm Gear mechanical dragon. And so that was awesome. Got a great deal on all that too. From the seller who I got the Rune Wars stuff from, I also got this stuff from Hordes. Now, Hordes is interesting. I was one of the original folks, well, not like I was special. With all the other folks who played Hordes when it first came out, I was playing it. Got away from War Machine and Hordes for various reasons. But I really appreciate some of the sculpts and everything. And these were 75% off retail. So those were a deal. Also, I picked up this box of troglodytes, and you see there it says 22 miniatures from the game Massive Darkness. Now, Massive Darkness is one of those games by Cool Mini or Not that comes with amazing figures, and this box comes with what you see here. It comes with a bunch of swordsmen and different folks, one little wizard guy or shaman that you could use in D&D, and then the Minotaur. Oh, Minotaur. I might have bought this back from a guy I think I sold it to last year. I'm not positive about that, but at Recruits last year, the convention, I sold a box of this, and I've regretted it because I'm like, you know what? I should have just painted them up. But now I have them back, and I think I paid less than I might have sold it for. I don't know. That wasn't my intent to rip anybody off. I just can't remember what I sold it for. Actually, I think I threw it into the deal with the original game main box, too. Okay, back here. This board game is near and dear to my heart. Myth. It has amazing minis. I just really love the style of Myth. And what's kind of crazy is my buddy and I got to know the folks behind MegaCon Games, and they actually made us characters in this game. I'm Little Father Andrew, and he's Father Joshua. And yeah, we're actually priests in real life, which the guys put us in their game as priests, which is nuts. And so that's really cool. So I picked up Myth. It actually had some of the Kickstarter stuff in it originally too. And I know there might be some hard feelings about Myth because there's still some Kickstarter issues like fulfilling the last Kickstarter. But those are being sorted out. Ulysses Spiel, this company from Germany, picked up the rights to Myth and is fulfilling all the Kickstarter stuff, and it's all going to work out. It's just taking a little more time than everybody wanted. And I actually was in communication with them this last week about getting some of the stuff from the Kickstarter I still needed, and they were great. Real responsive. So yeah, things are looking up. Okay, let's get into some of these minis here. First of all, there was this game, oh gosh, it's been at least 10 years ago, called Dreamblade. And you've seen these on other channels, right? Showing you probably these old Dreamblade figures, because you can get good deals on these even on eBay. But there was someone selling them for 50 cents a piece. So I'm like, okay, I need to pick up some of these. Now, Dreamblade are killer to get off this base. I use pliers and snippers and all that to clip off the base. I don't try to save that base. But when you remount them on another base, they're awesome. So I got a bunch of Dreamblade miniatures. Just let me show you some of these. They are weird, right? Like, and actually, this guy's a little weirder than I even thought when I picked him up. But there are some cool sculpts in them. And, some, like, translate super well into D&D. Some of these are really good to translate over. And then, like, I like this chain golem, medium size. And so that's just a range to look out for if you're doing your searches on eBay or if you see things based like this. They're from the game Dreamblade. I want to say when it was first out and active, they did tournaments for Dreamblade that you could win money by playing them. It was kind of a standard thing. Maybe that's just where I was in Chicago. They were doing that. But that was real interesting. The game didn't have much longevity, but these pre-painted minis stuck around and turned out to be pretty cool. So, yeah, some of these are actually really fun. So I'm excited about that. Now, I got some of these Song of Ice and Fire minis. And it's cool, they're pretty good. Really detailed plastic miniatures. I don't play the game, but these are really cool. And definitely, for D&D, for NPCs or characters, some of these are going to be awesome. And I got a pretty good deal on those. Now, something to just keep your eye out for. Like, when different conventions are going on, the big ones, sometimes there are things in goodie bags, grab bags, like ReaperCon and Adepticon in the United States, where you can get really good deals. I remember when Gen Con was doing their swag bags, they're called, right? Stuff we all get. And those were awesome. Then they went to a coupon book, which was less awesome, but I understand. It's all good. But you just want to keep an eye out, even if you're not going to a convention, but if you're a deal hunter for miniatures, what conventions are giving out. because I know at the latest Adepticon, they were like giving out the full game of A Song of Ice and Fire, like the new game that was Kickstarted and everything. Like people were getting the whole big thing. Now, some people are going to turn around and sell that thing just as a box. Some people are going to sell in bits. But you go to a garage sale, that's one of those things you're going to find. People who go to a convention aren't necessarily into a game. And you can get stuff for a deal. So that's awesome. And then, of course, Bones 4 came out. And you're going to find a bunch of Bones figures at things like this. Actually, I've already bought some. I backed Bones 4, got my Kickstarter fulfillment. Reaper did a great job. Love it. Some of them, I'm like, I really like these. And I'm like, I bet if I'm getting my Bones 4, other people are too. So I've already been on eBay and had delivered some eBay Bones 4 stuff. And if you're still waiting for your Bones 4 when this is filmed, I just encourage you, don't despair. It's coming. But I've already gotten stuff on eBay too from Bones 4, which is awesome. So I also got a bunch of other Bones miniatures. These were only $1 a piece, right? Retail, that's going to be a lot more. And I had to restrain myself from just saying, I'll take everything you got. I took all the bugbears that I could get. In fact, I got 7 bugbears, which is awesome. And then this is an interesting mini, okay? It's a Bat Demon from Reaper, but there's someone else who's done this conversion that I'm eventually going to do and show you too, where you take the wings off and then you clip the top of the head off, and then you use something round like a bead or a small marble or something to make a big eye, and then you do just a little putty work around that to blend it in with the head, the rest of the head. So you want to keep the mouth, right? You want to keep the mouth, but take off the horns basically, and the eyes. And then, without the wings, you do a little putty work to cover up those spots. This becomes an awesome, awesome Nothic for D&D, which is really fun. And they have such a fun little personality. The Nothics do. It would be great to role play. So I have another one of these that's still in the package that I bought just for that because the wings were all twisted up in the package. And I'm like, well, I don't care about that. I'm going to cut those off anyway. But those would be great, too, to use for other conversions. But that's the type of thing you want to look at. When you look at deals for miniatures, it's like, okay, can you get them and then maybe even use them in a conversion for something else if it's not exactly what you want? And, of course, I can. Of course I can. Okay, this is really cool. These are throwback. This is from a game, Chronopia, put out back in the day by Target Games. I think it became it became something else when they owned the right. They had Warzone. They created Warzone, Mutant Chronicles, and all that. Well, Chronopia was their fantasy game that they did, and this is one of the minis, and I have another one back there from that, which is awesome. And this guy's so cool. I've actually painted him up already for a Kings of War army. Before they had the Corneas miniature for Kings of War. But just look at that. He's like this crazy dude cut in half, dragging himself along. And in Kings of War, the miniature Corneas, or the thing I was proxying it for, only had a breath attack, right? No other type of attack. So I'm like, that's perfect for this type of guy, right? He only has a breath attack. Unless he's headbutting you. That's a serious horn to headbutt with. But there's also this... demon centaur thing that I also picked up. And actually, I think it's missing a piece, but that's okay. I got the important stuff to work with. I can give it a different hands and weapons, but that's all good. And then this cool piece. It was supposed to have a big flail, but that's all good. Then I also picked up some other individual minis. And then, okay, I'll show you the ones that I got for $1. That's an old GW miniature. It's got the cool cobra head on top. And so, he's going to be leading a snake cult of some sort. Then I got these two, metal fanatics. Those were $1. That's ridiculous, right? Then I got this guy. I assume he's GW also. Looks like GW style. This guy is an old Confrontation mini. I think he was also in that lot, which is great. And then I paid $3 for these. Here's some old Reaper wizard types. This is like a dark cleric type. I actually might have this mini already, but I haven't painted it up yet. We're getting metal minis for that amount. It's amazing. Here's another Reaper mini. Awesome. Look at that. Look at that. Mind Flayer. So good. And metal, which some people don't like working with metal. I've been wargaming for so long, I don't mind it. This is interesting. I don't know what sculpt this is. I should ask the guy I bought it from because he had multiple of these. I don't know what company this is from, and it doesn't say on the base. And I don't know, he's really cool. He's like this wizard that has his gear on his back, and like his little shoulder covering is flying up, and he's got a cool staff pose, and yeah, I really liked him. So he was just a few bucks. Now this guy's fun. This is from Target Games as well. This is an old figure from Warzone, and it's one of their Dark Legion guys, and he's kind of crazy. So he will be awesome leading some skeletons. Maybe he could lead you guys. You like that? I don't know. It's awesome. Okay, so that's one big tray of minis, right? Then I also just got a big old box of bits. This is the kind of fun stuff you can get at a convention or a garage sale or a game store auction. You know, always need bits. And I saw in here that these were all pretty much like Warhammer Chaos bits. And banners like this are great for D&D, for conversions on terrain, or just, you know, to set up banners to change like a normal looking camp into now a camp with this type of, you know, spiky theme or whatever. But it's a good time. But it's great. There's just so much in there that, you know, hopefully I'll actually get around to going through it. But it's great to start a bits box. And I have a crazy amount of bits, of course, that I need to organize better. I've started, though. I've started. But I just wanted to show you, you know, this is the type of thing you might not think about. And this was just sitting on a table. And the person whose table it was, like, had a bunch of these stacked up with all sorts of different Warhammer Fantasy figures in them. And, you know, partially completed, partially painted, all that good stuff. And some of them, I mean, it was awesome, you know, all the different options. But, you know, people are offloading collections. This was from someone who was into historical minis, who went through a little bit of a fantasy phase and then was getting out of it. And so they just let me make an offer on this box of bits. And, you know, like I could do the eBay thing, right? On eBay, I just spread this across the table in my pictures and show all of these. I mean, on eBay, this would, you might get more than I paid for it. But, like, it's awesome, too, being able to get it without shipping. And supporting just local people in your area, which is awesome. Okay, here's one of my favorite lots. Oh my goodness. This had a sign on it, a buck a mini, and I started going through it, and I'm like, oh, this is a lot. I want a lot, right? Battle Masters Ogre. There are at least 2 of these in here, I think. Yep, I just found, oh no, maybe 3. Are you kidding me? Oh, I'm so happy. I have a collection of those. I think I have a dozen of these already. And now if I can take them up to 15, I have no idea why I'd need that many. But they're really fun. This box I was going through, I started taking them out. Do these guys look familiar from my video for last week? Right? Plastic Beastmen from the 90s from G-Dub. What? Yes! So there were a bunch of these. So I was getting more Beastmen because those are awesome. I like these stock Chaos Warriors back in the day too, just with that single pose. I have a bunch of those already. But there are also like some of the old multi-part Chaos Warriors, which are interesting. And then a bunch of stuff from Battle Masters also. But I also was looking through here, and as I was going through, I'm like, oh no, what just happened? Hero Quest stuff too? There's not a ton of Hero Quest from what I can tell, but there's some. They threw in some of their Hero Quest stuff, right? Mummy? Skeleton? Uh-oh, did I just find more mummies and skeletons? Uh-oh, did I just find... What? That looks like a Rampham or Grenadier thing. Look how they based it. That's awesome. They just cut up a yardstick. That's really cool. Oh, gosh. Oh, what just happened? I didn't even know this guy was in here. One of those little GW Minotaurs. Okay, so that's going to be fun to go through and look at and catalog. So here's what's cool, right? I actually knew this person. I'd met him at the convention before. And, you know, we're developing a rapport. Great. Oh, no way. Another GW Minotaur. Ah! That's cool. Oh, man. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. And he, you recognized me and said, hey, and I went over to his booth and was looking at his stuff, and I was like, oh, I just saw this box, and I saw those Beastmen, and I'm like, oh, I'm definitely gonna have to go through there and look at the Beastmen. And then I started going through it, and I'm like, uh-oh, I just found ogres. I found these chaos guys that I want too, right? And so I just start going through, and I'm starting to pull out, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm getting up to like 10, 15, 20. Oh, cool. These are from Warhammer Quest. What? Spiders and bats from Warhammer Quest? You know it. Sorry. Getting distracted. Oh, no way. Another sprue, a complete sprue, it looks like, of those critters from Warhammer Quest. That's awesome. See, I had no idea all that was in here. And if I would have bought these individually, I would not have bought all of them. But, I mean, there's a ton of elves. I probably got, gosh, maybe 15 sprues like this, maybe more. I don't know. If I would have bought it individually, I would have just walked away with some of the Chaos Guys, the Ogres, and the Beastmen. But I looked at this, and I didn't even go through the whole thing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make an offer. Because actually, someone did that to me at the convention last year on a box of 50-cent minis I had and made an offer. And I'm like, you know what? That's great. I shouldn't have done that because my dad was also manning my booth. And when kids would come by, he'd just start giving stuff away. And that's the box he was giving away from, which I had no problem with that. That's awesome. Give kids free minis. Get them into the hobby. It's awesome. But once I gave away his box of 50-cent minis, guess what he was giving away? $3 ogres, which was not cool. Then I was like, Dad, calm down. But as long as the kids like them, it's all good. But that was hilarious. Back to my story. I made an offer on this box. They accepted. It was awesome. Very grateful for that group. I gave them a link to this website too, or my YouTube channel here, Crafts and Minis. So Steve, if you're stopping by, shout out to you. Thanks for the deal. I'll see you at the next convention, but that's awesome. I love old school stuff too. Old school plastics are great. I'm like on camera trying to look at the base of here. Okay, I just saw a dwarf on a bear. What just happened here? That's the other thing. When you get stuff like this, you have no idea what's in there. But guess what that is? A dwarf riding a bear. That makes me really, really happy. He's going on the other tray. Okay, so that's a lot of fun. Overall, this was an amazing, amazing time. Spending a couple hours with my dad, walking around, going through memory lane on some of these sellers. There was a ton more there, and I might actually go back this evening. It's going through the evening. I might pick up a game, just play a game with some folks who are playing. I know they were trying to get that together, but I wanted to share with you my haul. Just to say, listen, the deals are out there if you're willing to hunt for them. And I definitely found some deals today. So thanks for taking a look. I know this was a longer video, but folks seem to like these haul videos. And I'm really pleased with this. Now, just a reminder, just because I bought this week and I'm putting up a video does not mean like this is the stuff that's moving up to the top of the queue for me to work on this week, right? I felt bad because like I've shown like my one video on the Loka figures from Mantic Games that came in, and I was like showing how to get these deal, and someone made a comment that made me think they wanted me to like work on those that week, and it's like, oh no, I'm sorry. Like when I find deals, I like to do a video on those, but I don't necessarily mean that that's what's going to be worked on this week. So just a warning, I have no idea when I'm getting around to all this stuff. Some of the bigger stuff, though, I'm really excited to work on. I might have to set up my airbrush to get serious. I don't know. But this is just a reminder. People are always looking for deals, and one of the great places to do that are your local community even. When there are sales like this going on. I know there are game store auctions. Like when I was in Chicago, there was this store, Games Plus, that was amazing. Would do a game store auction twice a year, and you could get incredible deals. So this is my latest deal. It's awesome. I'll get this stuff organized hopefully and get after it, and that's what I encourage you to do. And remember, if you're looking for deals on minis, there's a link in the description below to the Discord server about cheap minis, especially for D&D, but we're like all over it. We're like all sorts of cheap fantasy minis especially are being talked about and deals are shared. So I just wanted to share what I was able to get and encourage you. You know what? There's no reason you couldn't do a little gamer garage sale yourself if you're connected with some location that would let you set it up. That would be awesome. And that's what happened in this case. Just a local school set this up. It was great. Thanks for taking a look. Go get after your hobby.